Welcome. We are visiting organization values and knowledge of Pingal Chand Vedang. Pingal Chand Vedang is one of the six Vedangas. Pingal Chand Vedang is a scripture of 8 chapters. In the previous sessions, we have visited chapter 1 and chapter 2. Chapter 1 is a scripture of 16, 15 shloka sutras. Chapter 2 is of the range of 60 sutras. Further, we have been face to face with the organization of 42 meters. These 42 meters are of features as is tabulated. This table of 42 meters as of 7 rows and 6 columns have distinct values. Column 1 is Devi, column 2 is Asuri, column 3 is Parjapati, column 4 is Jejusham, column 5 is Samnam, and column 6 is Richam. 7 rows are Gayatri, Ushnik, Anushtup, Briti, Pankti, Tristup, Jagati. These as such make Gayatri as a spectrum of 6 values, 6 versions. Ushnak as well is a spectrum of 6 values, and like that, each of the 7 Gayatri, Ushnak, Anshtup, Briti, Pankti, and Tristupa and Jagati are of 6 features. The meters are the filters. These filters lead to the spectrum. The Gayatri Chand as a filter leads to 6 streams of a Jyoti. Jyoti flowing through orb of the sun, while is through the filter Gayatri, this same leads to 6. These 6 streams of Gayatri Chand are of values 1, 15, 8, 6, 12, and 18, making a summation value 60. Ushnik Chand leads to 6 streams of Jyoti flow, and the same is of values 2, 14, 12, 7, 14, 21, making summation value 70. Let us sit comfortably and permit the transcending mind to grasp the sequential progression of the summation values of these 7 chand, these 7 filters. These values are 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, 110, and 120. It would be blissful to take note that there is a sequential increase of value 10 at each step. As such, the total streams, total spectrum of filters through all these 7 chand, Gayatri, Ushnak, Anstup, Briti, Pankti, Tristup, and Jagti, is of value reach, beginning with the value 60 and reaching up to value 120. See, it is this feature which deserves to be chased as a manifestation, as a manifestation along the geometric formats. These geometric formats are in respect of value 60 as 60 coordinates fixation of the transcendental boundary of 12 components of self-referral domain. Hypercube 6 as H6 12 V raised to power 5 is leading to the value 12 into 5 is equal to 60. Now, the value 70 we know is the value equal to the split of a domain at its fifth phase. The domain split is sequential of values 1, 2, 5, 12, 29, and 70. Therefore, it is the fifth phase and stage of the split, which is of 70 streams. Then the value 80 is parallel to the total solid components coverage for all the 10 creative boundary components of the transcendental domain. Hypercube 5 is having creative boundary of 10 components, and each boundary component is having 8 components. 8 solid components of each of the 10 creative boundary components together make value 80. Step ahead, value 90 is equal to 18 into 5. We know that hypercube of 5 is a fourfold manifestation layer, 3, 4, 5, and 6, making a summation value 18. Therefore, the hypercube of 5 within hypercube of 5 as such is going to make a total value 18 multiplied by 5 is equal to 19. A step ahead, value 100 is equal to the transcendence at the transcendental origins of each of the 10 boundary components of 5-space domain. Therefore, one shall have a pause here and take note that value 60 is in respect of the fixation of a transcendental boundary, that 5-space as a boundary. Value 70 is equal to 70 streams flow at fifth split of a domain. Value 80 is parallel to 80 solid components requirement for exhaustive coverage of the boundary of the transcendental domain. Value 90 is equal to the value of hypercube of 5 within hypercube 5. Value 100 is equal to the transcendence phenomenon at the origins of each of the creative boundary components. A step ahead, value 110 is the value which takes us to the 11 versions of hypercube of 5 at the origin of the creative component, and there being 10 creative boundary components. As such, it makes a total value 110. And further, 5-space in the role of the boundary of 6-space, and there being as many as 12 boundary components, so it makes a value 120. One shall sit comfortably and permit the transcending mind to be face to face with this organization format features of 12 chand. Now, in addition to these 42 meters, there is a range of 21 another meters. These 21 meters are as being tabulated here. In column number 1 is the serial number. In column number 2 is the name of the chant. Say serial number 1 is a Gayatri. It is of 24 syllables. It is of 4 padas, 4 quarters, and so each quarter, each pada is of value 6. So sequentially, when we will reach from 1 to value 21, it is going to be of padas of value 6 to 26. Now it is this phase which deserves to be comprehended well, to have a proper appreciation as to how the total total meters being settled by Pingal Chanshas are 42 plus 21 is equal to 63. We shall further have a pause here and take note that the value 42 plus 21 leads to value 63, which is parallel to TC value 63 of the transcendental mantra Om Namah Shivaya. Further, the value 42 and value 21 as a pair make it as 21 into 1 and 21 into 2. That means it is an organization of a linear axis and a spatial axis. Further, we know that within a spatial format, that is within a square, we can simultaneously have, because of the first axis as a linear progression format, and in terms of both the axis of the plane, we can have 42. Now, this organization of 41 and 42, as it is also parallel to the cube as of 7 versions, is having a set of 7 three-dimensional frames. 7 three-dimensional frames as such lead to 7 into 3 is equal to value 21. Further, we know that each three-dimensional frame splits into a pair of three-dimensional frames. This split phenomenon, which as such will lead us to as many as 42 three-dimensional frames of half dimensions. One shall have a pause here and take note that this organization of chand, of filters, is in fact is parallel to the split phenomenon of the dimensional frames. Q as a representative regular body of 3 space within 4 space, which is of a spatial order, results into split of a 3-dimensional frame into a pair of 3-dimensional frames. One shall further have a pause here and take note that at the origin seat of the creator's space, that is 4 space, which is of a spatial order, there happens a visfort, a explosion. It is this explosion at the transcendental origin seat of the creator's space which brings us face to face with the existence phenomenon of a solid dimensional frame. One shall further have a pause here and take note that transcendental origin is of a solid order. We have seen solid order means 3 space in the role of a dimension. Further, we have seen the 3 space itself is of a linear dimensional setup. There are as many as 3 linear dimensions which manifest as a cube, as a 3-space body, as a solid dimension. Therefore, the solid dimension itself splits and makes a pair of three-dimensional frames within creator's space. Therefore, the entire approach, entire comprehension, the ultimate reach of the organization format and knowledge of Pingal Chand Sutra is the reach till there happens a explosion at the transcendental origin seat of the creator's space. Therefore, once there happens an explosion at the origin seat, as a result thereof, there come into existence these 63 filters. These 63 filters are having filtering streams for a Jyoti flow from orb of the sun for its reach up till core of the earth and back. Now see, five space as an origin has a release. Five space is presided by transcendental Lord Shiv. The transcendental mantra of Lord Shiv is Om Namah Shivaya. The formulation Om Namah Shivaya leads us to the TC value 16 plus 32 plus 15 equal to 63. Therefore, we, the students of Vedic mathematics, we, the sadhakas, having an urge to be parallel with the organization format of Vedic knowledge, Vedic systems, Vedic mathematics, Vedic sciences, Vedic technologies, have to be blissful as that it is not only the arithmetic, it is not only the algebra, it is not only the geometry, but the manifestation within creator's space and transcendence from the manifestation is being simultaneously at work. Therefore, the students of Vedic mathematics will be of a mental state which can have a chase of the Visford explosion at the creator's space, and as a result thereof, there will be a release of the transcendental origin. It is the release of the transcendental origin which will be responsible for the total 63 streams of filters, and it is the filter streams through these 63 filters which is making the existence phenomenon of our solar universe. The existence phenomenon of our solar universe, including the existence phenomenon within human body, is as a result of this Jyoti filtering. It is this phenomenon of a Jyoti filtering which is going to be the ultimate base of the Vedic mathematical processing steps. Therefore, let us have a pause here and revisit that first set of 42 filters are being defined and explained in chapter 2. These 21 filters are being defined and explained in chapter 4. Now, it is this reach of 42 filters and 21 filters which is ultimately going to be the attainment of this scripture. Now, it is in this preliminary background that we shall be approaching the organization of chapter 3 and organizations of chapters 5 onwards. Therefore, while in the next session we will be visiting the spectrum streams of Gayatri, Ushnak, Anushtup, Briti, Pankti, Tristub, and Jagati. In chapter 3, we shall be presuming that we have preliminary exposure to this split spectrum approach of the Pingal Chand Shastra. Let us once again have a pause and let us recapitulate that we are having a chase of organization and knowledge of Pingal Chand Sutra. Formulation Pingal Chand Sutra. Pingal is a name of the author. Pingal is a formulation. So formulation Pingal, formulation Chand, and formulation Vedant. These formulation as well deserve to be chased in terms of the 8 ganas format defined and settled in chapter 1. Then further, the Gayatri, Ushnak, Anushtup, Briti, Pankti, Trishtup as of 42 spectrum streams are settled in chapter 2. Now, in chapter 3, we shall be face to face with the processes of being parallel to the features of the split streams. It is here in chapter 3 where we also shall be learning as to how to have the distinctive features of these filtered streams. It is here where we also shall be knowing as that each of the chand is having its distinct rang, color. It is having its distinct devata. Therefore, the distinguishing features of these meters in case of confusion will have a suspicion-free specific settlement and determination in terms of the colors, rang, and devata of these meters. Therefore, let us sit comfortably and be face to face with these preliminary features. We shall be well acquainted with the names of these 42 plus 21 meters. Once we will be well acquainted with the designations, names of these meters, and once we will be face to face with the number of syllables which make these meters, then it will be easy for us to have comprehension. And it is in this background when we will be visiting and chasing chapter 3 onwards, we will be having a blissful imbibing of these ways. Thank you very much.